All right. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's episode of Ravenloft Misfits. I'm Jonny. I am the DM for this campaign. And tonight we have a guest star, Momo. She's going to be taking over for Ireena. I'm super excited to see what she brings to the table. How you doing?
Doing good. Really excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we'll see what the session holds. For a list of all the other cast members and socials and pronouns, check out the chat or the episode description. We stream Ravenloft Misfits each Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, excluding the last Monday, which we use for our one shot of the month. Please make sure to follow us, subscribe to the channel, participate in chat, and if you are watching a recording, please like, comment, and share this with your friends. We want to build an awesome community of TTRPG and D&D liking people. And if you're listening on the podcast, please consider rating our channel and leaving us a good review if you liked it. On whatever podcast app you use. It helps the algorithm and all that stuff. So,
and we also just want to thank our sponsor for our campaign, which is Roll20. So if you're watching this stream and you're looking for a way to play together with friends online, whether it's a TTRPG or some other game, Roll20 is a great way to do a virtual tabletop. So go check out roll20.net and check out that in the chat or the episode description if you're watching it on YouTube or, in some other VOD.
Yeah, and we also want to thank Sirenscape for allowing us to use the awesome app that they have that's filled with epic sounds and music. And it has been amazing. If you haven't checked out our previous episodes, it is grade A stuff. You guys should definitely look at it. It's super easy to use. Anyways, check it out in a link in the chat or in the episode description. You'll find an easy way to find both what we use in our campaign and how to use it yourself. And yeah, all right. So with that aside, let's talk about what happened last session. So, after a tense encounter with Strahd, the Misfits finished the funeral and decided to leave Father Donovich and his son. The cart was then packed, and you all took the road. One of the nights, Grimm, you had noticed that Katya's sharply pointed fangs had started to grow in while she was sleeping. Though after a discussion between the two of you, you decided to leave it alone and keep it to themselves for now. Grimm and Katya. Katya and Johans, you noticed that Ireena started the campfire using her blood, which was interesting. And then on the night of the second day of travel, the group came to a clearing set up for camp where you found 7 hanged bodies. Blaire, you recognize these people to be your lost companions from where you had lost them in the mist while entering Barovia, and Johans, after using your mage hand to take one of them down, they all ripped from their already frayed ropes, falling to the ground and coming after you as you had discovered them to be zombies. Then, the battle was difficult for many reasons, but most of all, Blaire was not okay. The party did what they could to console her, but the one factor that continued hope was that Blaire, you noticed your commander was not among the bodies. So, after that, a long rest was had, and you continued your journey. And let's switch this up. So, you continued your journey, and the road gradually disappears and is replaced by a twisted, muddy path through the trees. Deep ruts in the earth are evidence of comings and goings of wagons. Canopy of mist branches suddenly gives way to black clouds boiling far above. There's a clearing here, next to a river that widens to form a small lake, several hundred feet across. 5 colorful round tents, each 10 feet in diameter, are pitched outside a ring of 4 barrel-topped wagons. A much larger tent stands near the shore of the lake, its sagging form lit from within, and near this tent, at the shore, you see 8 unbridled horses drinking from the river. You hear the mournful strains of accordions clashing with the singing of several brightly clad figures around a bonfire. A footpath continues beyond this encampment, meandering north between the river and the forest's edge, and as your group approaches, you see these people notice you, and a male with black-pointed beard stands up from the fire. Visitors, welcome to our camp. Are you friend or foe?
I
Friend.
keep my hood kind of tucked down over my head still. Still haven't removed it since we
Sure.
left our town of Barovia.
Okay.
We certainly hope to be friendly.
I moved to be in the middle of the group.
Okay.
Try to hide from all the big people.
The
Sure.
D&D party conglomerates to protect the small ones in the middle.
The little boy. So,
We'll just like circle around him.
as he waves up, anybody respond?
Yeah, I guess if everybody's gonna be nervous, I'll step up and say hello. We're
Okay.
hoping to be friends.
Well, if you are friends, then you are most welcomed guests, then. Please, take a seat near the fire. And here, you look tired. Gregor, grab our guest some food and wine. Unless you're more of a mead type. And you look over to see Ismark is like confused for a second. What is mead? And Marco says, "Oh, friend, it's a different type of drink. Gregor, get mead. You will like it. Comes from beyond the mists." So, as you all begin to take your seats around the campfire, he looks interested at each of you and he says, "What brings you to Tser Pool?"
Well, we're on our way to. Oh shit! You took the map away. We're on the way to the next city over. We're just traveling
Wow,
I
that
by.
have a map.
Balak? Is it called
Oh
that?
wait, it's in the. Hang on. No, don't help. It's in the thing. Balakai.
Oh, it's halfway there.
Ah, Valakai, you are quite a few days of journey away from there, but I'm
Well,
glad that we
we're
could
on
give
our
you
way.
a small respite before traveling again. Please, if
Most
you
appreciated.
want, you can stay here for as long as you feel. We are, as I said, welcoming you as honored guests.
Well, we'll take our rest here and be on our way. We don't want to tarry too long.
Understood? And at about that time, you see a big, very big man coming around with like a bunch of plates. And he's like stacked them all on his arms and he's like kind of balancing. All right. Who wanted food and mead? It's just kind of
You know, the
awkwardly.
last time we took food from
just-
a stranger.
That's what I was
He
thinking.
just
yeah.
hands plates over to each of you and heads back towards a large barrel where he begins pouring meat out of from one of the carts and brings it around to each of you.
I kind of like the
See-
idea that we're all still thinking about that old lady, and so he just kind of
Yeah,
dumps it in our lap, and we're just like, yeah.
That's true.
I'm gonna see if oh, I got a natural 20 from Marco. So he's like, I imagine that you probably had some bad dealings with some people beforehand, so you are not willing to eat?
Well,
Please, I don't want
It's-
to make
it's
you
not-
eat by
no,
any
listen,
means.
we
I'm gonna-
appreciate your hospitality. It's just, you know, we have to be careful out here. You understand how life is.
Of course, I
outside.
understand.
What is the food that we currently have on our? that he just
So
gave us?
currently, you see it is. He'll describe it as, well, it's a bit of wolf meat. We have some hunters here, and it's a type of rice that comes from outside of Barovia. It's actually quite good.
You've
Okay,
been
I'm
outside
gonna
of
st-
Barovia?
Yes, a lot of our things out here is from outside of these lands.
Where'd you
Johan's
come from originally?
From here.
Oh.
Then
Yeah.
how do you exit the mist?
Interesting. You've never heard of... Interesting. And he, starts to lean in. And he says, allow me to tell a story then.
I'll start eating when he starts
As he
talking about the
says
story.
that, I'm gonna cast Mage Hand, grab a little bit of the food, and move it towards his face. Can you try these, please?
Eats it. And he turns towards the bonfire, staring deeply within.
I start eating too.
He begins moving his hands. And at the center of the flickering fire, you see a dark figure
Don't like
limping
that.
and then falling to the ground. One night, long ago, a wounded soldier staggered into our camp and collapsed. We nursed his terrible injuries and quenched his thirst with wine, and he survived. When we asked him who he was, he wouldn't tell us. All he wanted was to return home. But we were deep in the lands of his enemies. We took him on as one of our own and followed him back towards his homeland. His enemies hunted him. They said he was a prince, yet we did not give him up. Even when their assassins fell upon us like wolves. In the fires, you begin to see the dark figure standing with sword drawn and fighting off a host of shadowy shapes. This man of royal blood fought to protect us, as we protected him. We bore him safely to his home, and he thanked us. He said, I owe you my life. Stay as long as you wish, and leave when you choose, and know that you will always be safe here. You see the figure in the dancing fire vanquishing its final foe, and then disappearing in a cloud of smoke and embers. Marco's face becomes somber, even the slightest bit. A curse has befallen this noble prince, turning him into a tyrant. We alone have the power to leave his domain. We've traveled far and wide and have yet to find any that can end the Dreadlord's curse and put an end to his troubled soul. Our leader, Madame Eva, is in the tent right over there. She may have answers to the questions that you still have, if you will speak with her.
You said this curse had fallen this prince that you came across?
Yes.
And you don't know more about the curse? Is that what you're saying? We have to
It
speak
is
to...
the curse of Strahd.
He said it.
Hey, that's the name of the thing!
We have yet to find any that could end this curse. But we still keep hope. And we still keep respect for the man has kept up with his bargain. So yes, we can leave Barovia under his permission.
The fire, that was pretty neat. How did you do that?
Magician never tells his secrets, friend.
Can you do other stories?
I could. But let's leave that for another time. Madame Eva was actually expecting you. It is only a formality that I asked whether or not you wanted to join.
I kind of turn my cloaked head over towards Ireena and look back towards the rest of the group. Well, I think this is what we were coming here for, right? To speak with the seer?
I think so.
I suppose so. We don't seem to have much of a choice.
You see, Ismark sitting right next to Ireena is looking very uncomfortable as well. And looks over to Ireena. Well, you were the one that wanted to get some answers, right?
Yes, without the risk, there's no reward after all, Ismark.
Let's hope that we don't risk too much, though.
She kind of grins at him.
So, and Ismark stands up, and he looks over, and you see the tent over here is the one that he speaks of as he kind of references over.
I start heading that way.
All right.
I finish eating first.
All right, and as you continue eating, Marco looks at each of you. Does any of you have a story that you can share? I would be most interested while you finish up your food. It is okay. Don't worry.
I'm gonna lean
We don't
over.
need to share stories here
I'm gonna
just
lean
yet.
over to Katya and be like, "Do we talk about the house?"
I'll start following Johan's over
No,
the thing as well.
I'd rather not relive that, actually.
That's fair.
All right. So, you all begin to make your way after finishing up your food
Joel,
into
you
Madame
going
Ava's tent. He's just like,
I want to bring a second glass of mead with me.
sure, absolutely. Yeah, Gregor is making his rounds and just bringing mead to everybody and wine if anybody else wants it.
For the record,
But-
I didn't drink any of my mead. There's just a cup on the floor
I
where
did.
I was standing.
I have
That's
two
the one
cups
that,
now.
yeah,
Dual-wield.
sure.
Yeah. Sick.
Ireena's like babysitting hers. She's
Yeah.
a little like she's a little wary right now. She's a little like
Sure.
on guard.
Sure. All right. So, you all begin to enter the tent on the shores of this small lake. Magical flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of this tent, revealing a low table covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as you see a hunched figure peering into its depths. She speaks, her voice crackles like dry weeds. Ah, at last, you have arrived. Welcome, Blaire, Estella, Ireena, Ismark, Johans, Katya, Logan.
Don't like this.
Please, take a seat.
I look over at Grimm when she said, what did she call you?
She begins pulling out
I shrug.
a deck of cards. You see her grabbing this deck of cards and begins shuffling, and she says, "You are here for a reason. Reason that I will share with you if you allow me. Please, take a seat."
I will step forward nervously and kind of almost close in on my own self as I kind of
Sure.
have that, that
Okay.
uncomfortableness. And I kind of will
First one.
sit down. That name that has no meaning to me. Why?
Would you prefer Grimm then?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't know that either name is something that belongs to me. But
Well, then I will call you by the one that you have been going after for these past few days. Yes, Grimm?
where did Logan come from?
That was your given name when you were born. I've seen it. And she begins moving her hands over the crystal ball.
How do you know all of our names in the first place?
I see many things. If you allow me, I can show them to you.
I'll take a seat and do a crisscross. I'm imagining this is probably low to
Sure.
the ground.
Very low table, yeah.
So
it's like, yeah.
I'll sit crisscross, keeping my hood still down, but
Sure.
I'm looking at this woman intently, just studying everything she's doing.
Sure. Go ahead and do a, I would say, perception in this case. Since you're only looking, you're not able to actually see.
Perception.
Oh, you're not able to like
Nice.
move it around is what I meant. Nice. Natural 20. You see, from what you see, she is just shuffling the cards and just continuing to move everything. And just doesn't seem to be doing anything trickery-wise.
That's sus.
So sus.
Totally sus.
So, do you all take a seat?
I plop on the
Is there
ground.
room for all of us?
There is, yeah.
Oh,
Even to the same number of people, there are small cushions for each of you to sit on.
Oh, wow.
I'll sit on the closest one I can to her, so I can keep just observing what she's doing.
Sure. With your perception, you see her kind of smirk, as if she knew you were going to sit there.
I'm gonna stand up and go to the other side.
And you see her begin to...
I cross my arms in anger and just stare.
It is okay, Johans. You can trust.
I don't trust these.
Oh, I know. Continues shuffling the cards. So, as all of
I'll
you
sit down.
finally make your way towards the table. Well, welcome. Welcome to the table. She places the cards down onto the table, cuts it in half, and then pulls from the first card, holding it up. This card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. She looks at it. The illusionist. 7 of stars. There is a man that is not what he seems. He comes here in a carnival wagon. He has what you seek. She pulls another card. This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection. A holy symbol of great hope. 5 of glyphs, the druid. This item is near a towering tree of death. I see that it grows atop a hill of graves. The ravens will help you find it. She pulls another card. This is a card of power and strength. Tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of pure sunlight. The 8 of glyphs, the bishop. What you seek lies in a pile of treasure beyond a set of amber doors. She pulls another card. This card sheds a light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. The mists. A powerful Vistani wanders this land alone, searching for her runaway friend. She looks to you, Johans. Her mentor will help you find her. She places it down. And this card. Your enemy is a creature of darkness whose powers are beyond mortality. This card will help you lead to where he is when the time is right. The ghost. He waits for you within his mother and father's tomb. You see a cross in the table for the 5 cards that she had played. And she says, "Now, I would like to pull a card for each of you to shed insight into what may happen yet in Barovia." She pulls the first card, looking to Logan. Says, "This card will show you your own future and what you may face." She flips it. Says, "The innocent. Someone you have forgotten, though someone who is dear to you. Innocent and in danger, she waits, though not the same as you had left her. Your journey leads to a place where sickness and madness are bred. Blaire." She looks very intently into your eyes. "I see much trouble in your eyes. This card may help you with this. The One of Swords, the Avenger. You aim to avenge your brethren, though the task is more than you currently know. Seek the ones within a fallen house that is guarded by a great stone dragon. Katya."
Oh no.
She laughs. "I see much turmoil in you. This card may help. The beast. Something grows inside of you. If you're not careful, this beast will completely take control. If you seek the knowledge to eliminate this curse, you will find it hidden in a place with a faceless god. I see that this journey will not be easy, but he awaits you at the end of a long and winding road, deep within the mountains."
I look back towards Katya during that explanation. I kind of just look towards Katya's eyes, and then I return my glance forward.
Katya is very uncomfortable right now.
Johans has been staring daggers at this lady.
Super uncomfortable.
He has blinked the minimum amount of possible times.
Yes.
So at that, she stares at Katya, and then immediately towards you, Johans, pulling another card. Johans, your card. Of course. Transmuter. You come here searching for one that has proven difficult to find. Even now, I have trouble seeing him. All I can see is that he has found a place that grants him complete focus, which may play to your benefit. She places it down. She smiles towards you again, and then turns towards Ireena. Ireena, your card. The Dark Lord, the Tyrant of Barovia. He has taken a particular interest in you and your soul. Continue your studies. Find the Vistani woman. She will teach you more about your family's bloodline and its secrets.
Do you know this Vistana woman's name?
I have a feeling that somebody does. Check with your friends.
She
And
kind of
looks
looks
Go ahead.
around to the group, and she kind of gives you all kind of like a curious look.
I just shrug.
Same.
And I shrug.
Johans is still staring at the lady, but now, like, not for the same reason as before.
I'm kind of
He's just
staring
like-
off into space past her on the ground. And I'm also sitting
Sure.
in the front row, so all you see from probably your perspective is just the hood
Mhm.
behind. I don't even realize if you're looking towards me.
She looks towards Ismark. Ismark the Lesser.
Rude.
A title that you have heard more times than you would like. Your card is the Dictator. Barovia has seen its fair share of terrible leaders, and is in need of good and proper ones. Will you rise to the occasion and fill your father's shoes? Well, that remains to be seen. The only person standing in your way is you. You see Ismark kind of just close into himself as she looks towards Estella. And finally, Estella, your card speaks of your destiny. The missionary. You bring great tidings from a god unknown from these lands. My family seeks to travel back to the village you had just come from. You will bring much happiness and help those in need, and you ought to be their spokesperson. They know of a place where the moon shines, where you may find time to speak with your goddess. They are packing their things to leave early in the morning. Get some food, wine, and rest. They will be excited to finally meet you. Madame Ava now looks towards the low table with the cards placed in front of her, and then around at each of you for a moment, and says, I'm sure each of you have many questions. However, it is late. You are welcome to stay as long as you want in our camp, but just not in my tent. Please, leave. I need to catch up on my beauty rest. She winks towards Ismark, and he's like, kind of taken aback by it.
I'll get up. Actually, yeah, I don't want to be in this tent any longer than I have to. I'm gonna get up and leave as soon as I'm dismissed.
Sure.
I stay sitting for a moment, like completely zoned out.
She looks to you. Here. She hands you the card of the innocent. Take it. Maybe this will become a reminder for who you fight for. Though you can't remember, she will.
I don't understand any of this.
Shh. It's okay. But leave. She kind of like waves you off.
I'm gonna
We'll slowly
Go ahead.
back out of the tent then.
I'm waiting for everybody to leave first, so I can have a moment alone with the lady.
Yeah, Ireena, she kind of puts her arm around Ismark, like in a supportive kind of way, and
Sure.
kind
You can
of
see he is like,
yeah. Yeah, she's just like trying to comfort him and
Sure.
kind of takes him out of the tent.
I'll grab Blaire by the collar and drag her outside.
I follow.
I don't have questions, but I do have one inquiry, if that makes any sense.
Well, a question is an inquiry. Inquiry is a question.
It's more of a
Fine,
request
I will
to-
accept one. What?
Good. Is there anything that, as a fellow practitioner of the arts, you could provide me in this journey?
Johans, I already have. Information is one of the most important things for someone of your skill and talent. You must use it to your advantage.
Thank you. And I walk out.
As you're about to leave, she says, Trust yourself and the people around you, lest you find yourself alone in this forsaken place.
I just pause for a second, like just to kind of take in what she says, and I continue. Don't say anything.
Sure. So, as you make your way out of this tent, it's like a culture shock, as it is just completely different. You begin to hear the accordion music and people dancing around the fire once again, and yet you still feel pits in your stomach, as if every single word in there is just something that how did she know? How is she able to tell the future? What? And all of these questions are filling your head. But you see that nothing has changed out here. So, with that being said, what would you all like to do?
Die.
No.
Not too
Well,
late.
that was effing spooky.
I'm not a big fan of certain types of magic users. But she seems above board to me.
Well,
At least she is genuine, says Ismark.
Yes, she certainly was genuine, and seems that she has some insight at least.
So what does this mean for us now?
That means that we need to get a drink. And you see Ismark makes his way over towards where they're pouring out drinks.
fair
Hell
enough.
yeah, and then I follow behind him with my empty
Sure.
glass.
I don't think this changes much of our immediate goals. I think we still need to move in the direction of the place we were going to, whose name I forgot.
We at the very least have some things to look out for. Do you have a piece of paper I can borrow?
Not one I can't afford to give away.
Pardon me. I go over to the dude who greeted us.
Marco? Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, well, you are here.
We are
How did it
here.
go?
It was uncomfortable.
I can see.
Yeah.
That tends to happen with her. She doesn't hold back.
Would you
But now
mind?
it is time to drink and have fun and
Yes,
laugh.
so much fun. Yes. Would you mind lending me? Do you have a piece of parchment I could borrow?
Another natural 20 on his insight towards your fake ass laugh. And he's like, I
Marco,
see. It was that bad.
No. Listen.
Well,
Don't
say
mind
no
me.
more.
I don't.
Say no more. And he
just
pulls
don't-
out from a pack a
Not
piece
really
of
the-
paper, like a parchment and quill,
Just,
and he
I'm
hands it
just
over.
not really the revelry type, okay? And I'm just gonna go. Thank you.
Of
Appreciate
course.
it.
And he looks over to you, Blaire. I have another story. And Katya,
Well,
what
this-
would you like to say before then?
Oh, I was just saying I wrote down all that shit she was talking about, so I'm just gonna do that
Sure.
in the fiction. I'm just gonna write down all the things she was talking
Sure,
about and make
sure.
a list.
So
Absolutely.
while that whole encounter is happening, I'm gonna start approaching the lake and kind of just sit down at the
Sure.
edge of it, kind of letting my very poor boots soak into the water a little bit, as they're kind
Okay.
of holy already, kind of like flip flops almost.
So holy.
The holy
shoes. It is
And
at
I'm gonna
that
be holding.
point-
I'm gonna hold the card too, just kind of
Yeah.
looking at it.
I am going to approach Ireena and I'm going to say, I believe you and I have some information to exchange. Do you mind going for a walk?
She kind of looks at you curiously and nods, kind of watching as it looks like Ismark and Blaire went off to go get some drinks. So she's like, okay, Ismark's in good hands with Blaire over there, and she kind of nods and, of course, shall we? And she kind of motions for you to lead the
He's
way.
going to do this, so you put your gentlemanly, let's walk, but he's 2 feet
Way
shorter
shorter.
than you, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
work.
She places her hand, hand,
Adorable.
As the walk begins, he pulls a letter from his pocket and says, I believe this has information about you that you have not quite shared with the group. And I hand her the letter that
Sure.
we found from the very first corpse.
Yeah, what's the title of that one?
Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
Cool.
My
Kolyan
dear-
Idrovich?
Sorry, I didn't open it beforehand.
It's all good.
Is it? Yeah, it is my. No, not that.
Is this one?
Yeah, that's the
There
one.
it is.
I hand it over. Yeah. And yeah, I'm just giving Momo a second to read it.
I'm very familiar with this letter. No.
For all of our audio / viewers. This one is, Hail to thee of might and valor. I, the burgomaster of Barovia, send you honor with despair. My adopted daughter, the fair Ireena Koliana, has been these past nights bitten by a vampire. For over 400 years, this creature has drained the lifeblood of my people. Now, my dear Ireena languishes and dies from the unholy wound caused by this vile beast. He has become too powerful to conquer, so I say to you, give up for the dead. Or give us up for dead and encircle this land with symbols of good. Let holy men call upon their power that the devil may be contained within the walls of weeping Barovia. Leave our sorrows to their graves. Leave our sorrows to our graves and save the world from this evil fate of ours. There is much wealth entrapped in this community. Return for your reward after we are all departed for a better life. What is that?
She reads the letter and you see like a roller coaster of expressions on her face. As she finishes, she hands the letter back to you, Johans, and where did you get this letter?
From a corpse.
Do you happen to know the name of this corpse?
No, it was dead. We didn't ask. But was this just beyond the gates, right? Or was it right before the gates? I can't remember the order.
It was after the gates and like on the side of the road.
We found the body on the side of the road, close to some big gates.
And it was like completely torn open. You remember
And it was
having like
completely torn
claw
open.
marks and all of that
It
shit.
had claw marks and it had just been rendered to pieces.
I really wanted
it
Johan
was a
to say
bad
all of
sight.
that shit. I really, it had claw marks and all of that shit.
Yes, and all of that shit. It was like everywhere. It was guts and like it was like a Picasso of it was bad. Yes, I thought that was not actually canon for the.
It
was.
Medieval Picasso.
No, he's more
Well.
tactful than that.
Do you believe everything you read in letters you find on dead bodies in the road?
Ireena, I am a person of magic. If I believed it, I wouldn't be asking.
What is it you really want to know, Johans?
Anything. I just lost my accent. Hold on, I'm trying to get there.
You'll get there. I believe in you.
I just want this. Man, I literally just lost it completely.
You got this,
Sorry.
buddy. I believe in you.
Oh man. Okay.
It's only the entire internet watching. No pressure.
It's just the accent that I picked myself for this character that is now just gone.
You should pick a word to associate with the character that helps you to.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Damn, that's smart.
Baloney. It's baloney.
Stop being smart. No. What was the question that you asked again?
She was asking you, Johans, what is it that you really are asking me? What is it you're really wanting to know?
I want to know anything that has to do with the job that you have assigned to us. You picked us up to protect you from Strahd.
Yes.
However, if you and Strahd have had any type of connection beforehand, that is information that I need to know.
I
in
can
order
assure
to,
you, it is no connection. That is quite a stretch. There's no connection like that, whatever it is you're talking about. He is a tyrant and an evil, whatever he is.
So
Devil.
the information on that letter is false, is what you're saying.
She kind of like I imagine like they've been walking and they like probably stopped by this point. She's gonna like sit down and like pat on the ground like for him to join her.
Sure.
I'm going to be honest with you. there's no sense in this partnership if we can't trust one another. But I need you to keep this information between us. Can you do that?
As long as it doesn't bring pain to the others, I don't see why they should need to know.
If you feel, well, of course you feel the others are trustworthy, or else you wouldn't be traveling with them, correct?
Debatable. I trust them to watch my back, doesn't mean I trust their brains.
This situation is very complicated. It is as I said earlier. Sometimes you have to take a risk to obtain a reward. Do you understand?
To be perfectly honest, no.
Okay. Yes. I was bitten by Strahd. He seems to have some kind of disgusting obsession with me. I don't know what it is. He showed up at my father's funeral, uninvited, out of nowhere. He is so bold, it disgusts me. And although I was bitten, it has done some good in that it's allowed me to learn a little bit of things that I wouldn't have been able to learn otherwise.
As you say that, Luna walks and gets on your lap. I'm still standing, by the way, but she gets on your lap. Just nuzzles up against you.
Yeah, she takes Luna and starts petting Luna.
I'm not asking because I intend or fear that you're hiding anything from me intentionally or for negative reasons. I believe that you're a genuine, honest person, but I'm going to share some secrets with you too. I used to be a detective of sorts, helping people with their, as you say, issues. The more information on any situation that I know, the higher the chances I can help you overcome the issues that arise. Hence my questions. As my client, I'd appreciate a complete open channel between the two of us.
Okay. I understand. I will share my information with you. But it needs to stay between us or stay between the group if you deem them to be trustworthy. But anything I tell you cannot be shared outside of this group.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. We're having this conversation in our minds because I'm speaking to her mind.
Oh, you're using message.
That's an important detail.
I forgot to mention
important
it,
detail.
but this is a telepathic conversation that's happening.
Okay.
Just,
I love that for us.
Imagine you're just like intensely staring at each other, not saying anything in person.
I imagine that you guys had walked outside of the camp at least a little bit. That's why I turned down the accordion music a little bit.
We probably walked around the
that
edge of the lake or something.
I was gonna say, if we just like look over and you two are silently staring at
just standing and staring at each other.
Rigid.
They're gonna be like, damn it, Johans.
Okay. Go ahead.
I will obviously not share with the others any information that you don't want me to share.
Well, I only met them as I met you, so you know them more than I do. If you feel that they need to know And if they are trustworthy, then as I trust you then.
And the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, the name of the person that the lady mentioned is Esmeralda.
You
And
know.
as I said that, I start walking away.
Sure. So, as that happens, the same time, Blaire and Ismark are sitting at the campfire right next to Marco, and he brought you in saying, I have another story for you. If you were willing to listen, of course.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Perfect. Well, this one is an interesting one, and it happened more recently than the other. One day, a mighty wizard came to these lands over a year ago. Yeah, let's turn up that Vistani music. I remember him like it was just yesterday. He stood exactly where you were standing. Very charismatic man he was. He thought he could rally the people of Barovia against the Devil Strahd. He stirred them with thoughts of revolt and bore them to the castle in mass. However, when the vampire appeared, the wizard's peasant army fled in terror. The few stood, but were never seen again. The wizard and the vampire cast spells at each other. Their battle flew from the courtyards of Ravenloft to a precipice overlooking the falls. I saw the battle with my own eyes. Thunder shook the mountainside, and great rocks tumbled down upon the wizard. Yet, by his magic, he survived. Lightning from the heavens struck the wizard again, and he stood his ground. But when the Devil Strahd fell upon him, the wizard's magic could not save him. I saw him thrown thousands of feet to his death. I climbed down the river to search for the wizard's body. To see, if he had anything of value. But the river had already spirited him away. Eh? Good one, eh?
It's good. So, we don't need a wizard to kill Strahd. We need a good blade. Don't tell the wizard in the party.
Well, if you're trying to go against him, I would say that you should probably, and he kind of like, little play punch in the shoulder. You should probably put some meat on those bones.
I'm stronger than I look. And then what's something heavy nearby that I can lift up?
Sure, I mean, even just your halberd is just enough where he's like, oh.
Lift him up.
Lift up the cart.
Right, well.
I pick up the man.
You try and lift him up and go ahead and do a strength check.
All right.
Yeah, do it.
Oh no.
Well, I'll have him do he got a nat one. Nice. All right, let's see.
I got a 17.
17. So you just just no emotion, pick him up and he, whoa, okay, I see. Okay, put me down. Well, that is very impressive. I see why you're carrying that halberd there. That is probably very deadly in your hands.
Hey, yeah. This
Well.
blade, along with many of my friends, will be the one to take down Strahd. Mark
I
my
will put it in my
words.
books.
You will tell that story. You'll do that fancy fire thing for all of us.
I will tell the story. Yes. And your name?
Blaire, remember it.
Writes it down in a little piece of paper.
Got it
All right.
memorized.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get the name of the wizard, but I have yours. So, Blaire the
Already
Mighty.
better than him.
How about that? Sounds like a good story.
Good story so
Let's hope
far.
it doesn't end badly.
Oh, well.
Just don't do anything stupid.
We'll try.
But whatever, let's continue drinking. And he grabs another thing of ale from Gregor. What is Katya doing? I mean, I know you were writing
She's
that
like-
down.
I was writing that down. I'm probably done with that. And I'm just kind of like, I'm probably in the circle that they're all talking, but I'm just like sitting there,
Sure.
kind of curled up. I'm like that person at the party that really does not want to be there because they have no
Sure.
idea what to do with themselves.
Okay.
And I'm just like kind of just keeping to myself.
Grimm,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I've been sitting at the edge of this lake this whole time. Just
Okay.
kind of squatted down, my knees together. Just looking at the card, trying to understand.
Ismark gets up from the campfire after the story and he makes his way over towards you. Grimm, or Logan, or I don't know anymore. And he puts a hand on your shoulder. Are you okay, friend?
Honestly, no. I wake up not knowing anything about me, and this lady, nice as she was, knows these things. Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with this? Like, I don't. I don't understand.
And
I'm sorry. You just became Pat.
to think
for a
that she
second.
was saying that I was the only person in my way. I mean, like, what the fuck was that about?
I don't know what you're talking about. I kind of
Oh,
zoned off.
sorry. Yes, well, I saw you over here and I kind of wanted to be on my own as well, but mine was saying that I was supposed to become a leader here, but ever since my father died, it's just been something that is just not even in my brain at this point. Not something I think about. I mean, my father was trying to make me into, his successor as a burgomaster of the village, but every time that I would make any sort of his decision, they would just say that I'm lesser than my father. Which is why she said Ismark the Lesser. I gained that nickname from my loving people.
I'm sorry that I didn't even realize she said that
It's-
to you.
It's okay. It is nothing you need to be sorry about. But
Maybe you are a
I don't
leader,
know.
though. You
eh,
did come to us.
yeah, and you saw how Ireena reacted to that.
But you can see where it's led us.
Yeah. Let's hope that it doesn't lead us to death.
Well, I'll certainly do what I can to ensure that.
So, let's talk more about your predicament. You say that you woke up and you knew nothing. What do you mean? And he kind of like looks, he tries to look under the cloak more like at your eyes kind of thing, if you allow him.
I kind of slowly move my head over
Sure.
and let him see my face
Okay.
for the first time.
And he
With
kind
the
of like,
sunken in.
okay, well, that is a lot to take in. I assume that when you say wake up, you mean become alive again.
What it seems to be was in a graveyard, buried under dirt. Just bits and flashes of what came before.
Wow. I couldn't even imagine. That must be really difficult.
Yeah,
Let me say something then. I heard that you said that you find no meaning in the name Logan or the name Grimm. So then what if I were to tell you that you are a different person now? You can become whoever you want to be. It doesn't matter who you were before. Using the same words, you are the only one standing in your way. I don't know.
take a deep breath. And kind of hold out this cardigan in front of me.
He kind of joins you at looking at it.
She said
Stands
that
back.
there's this person that was close to me. Yet I have no memory of this person.
We will find her. I promise.
I'll tuck it into a little inside pocket of a cloak.
Sure.
Well, now you know why I keep this cloak covering my face.
I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think that that is the wisest thing to do. Only because the people here aren't always as accepting as we are. Hell, even I wasn't. I'm working on it every day, but I'm glad that you found trust enough in me to show me. And your secret is safe with me. Do your friends know?
Yes, they've... When we met, I was in rags, torn of what I must have been buried in.
Well, not much has changed as he elbows into you a little bit. So,
Well, it's okay. I hope to get some boots at least for my feet, and I kind of raise my feet from
that's
the
a good
water little
idea.
bit.
he turns back towards the camp. Maybe these people will have some. The Vistani. We only have to ask.
That's true.
Sometimes you just gotta ask.
Well, perhaps that'll be something in the morning.
Sure. Well, why don't you come and drink? And he stops. Do you drink? Can you drink?
Well, when we were at your place and when we were camping, I did try, but doesn't seem like I have hunger.
Interesting.
I haven't
Well, it's
eaten a meal and to shake my head.
God. That is good and bad. One, you'd never have to worry about it, and the other hand, you'll never be able to taste again. That's... Unless you can taste?
No,
God. He just kind of shakes it, takes a step back. He's like, man. That is rough. I'm sorry to hear that.
I guess I'll have to manage somehow.
Well, at least you don't remember what it feels to taste anything, right? You're not missing out on anything, right? All right, I am
Because that's
too
one
drunk.
way to look at it. Yeah.
I am too drunk.
I
This
like
meat
this guy.
stuff.
This guy's
This
blunt
meat
as
stuff
hell.
is very good. Not that I'm trying to put that in. I'm going to leave now. And until he starts making his way away from you.
I kind of have a slight smirk and I kind of look back towards the water.
He'll stop for a second and say, "We are going to take care of you, Grimm. I promise."
And kind of give him a nod. And
All right. And he turns around and makes his way back to the camp. Katya.
Boy.
While you are sinking into yourself, you see Marco kind of lean forward towards you, and an old storyteller looks to you and says, Katya, how did your meeting with Madame Eva go? Did you learn anything new? Yours, specifically. I know that she has given fortunes to many people, but I know she does. The one at the end that is specifically towards you, and that is always the most...
I mean...
The way that you were speaking earlier, I would say that it didn't go well.
It was a bit spooky, to be honest. We didn't exactly learn anything concrete. She seems rather vague about her predictions, but... And I like kind of hold up the list, and I'm like, I've got this list of stuff to look out for now, so that'll be fun to do. You
Well,
know,
at least you took notes. I didn't even do that on my reading.
It seemed important at the time, but I'm not really sure if I want to find some of these, you know what I mean?
Listen. You see him kind of go into he breaks his whole facade of him being all jolly and stuff, and he kind of gets real with you. And I remember when Madame Eva did my first Tarroka reading. She said that I had the heart of a father, yet I would never have kids of my own. My first reaction to that was much like yours. Difficult to accept. Spooky. I'd often find ways to defy the fate that had been given to me. And then he kind of stands next to you and looks over towards the group of Vistani people dancing around just next to you. And do you see that one over there? The woman dancing.
Yes.
You see a young woman about the same age as Blaire, just dancing around with people and having fun, though not drinking. That is my daughter, Alana. My point is that these Tarroka cards are meant to guide us, but they by no means solidify our future. Whatever was said in there, you are the one that creates your own destiny, creates your own fate. Do not think that this solidifies your future.
I admit I'm not really sure what to make of this whole situation, but it does give me some more confidence. Thank you.
Of course. Good luck on whatever you do. It seems like you have a good group of people here.
Thank you. Good luck with your travels. It seems you have a nice family here.
Thank you. We do. So, as that happens, Ismark leaves Grimm, and seeing Johans and Ireena awkwardly staring at each other, Ismark begins to make his way over to Ireena. Oh, well, that's right, Johans, you walked away, so Ismark makes his way over to Ireena, seeing you just kind of standing outside of the camp. He just comes over and... So... Was it everything you ever wanted? And more?
Well, I don't know if it's everything I ever wanted and more, but it's a start. It's something, and I think that Madame Eva was her name, yes?
That's what I heard. Something like that.
I think she's right. You have the capability to be what Barovia needs in a leader, Ismark.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been so hard ever since Father died. Just such big shoes to fill, and I'm even thinking that maybe you were meant to be the leader of the village, but I don't know. My mind is going everywhere.
Perhaps maybe at one time, but I think you are what Barovia needs right now, not me.
I think we both are. Don't cut yourself short. I saw you fighting those zombies. And he kind of looks for Blaire. I saw you fighting those zombies. That was amazing. Not that, Blaire shouldn't hear this conversation because touchy subject, but it was impressive. I didn't even know that you could do that.
I've been practicing, what can I say?
Huh, yeah, I can see that. Well, maybe we are the ones that Barovia needs right now.
We are. And I think you are what they need at home, and perhaps I need to find this Vistana woman and find out perhaps she can help us.
Sure.
And then I can come back home and things will be okay somehow, some way, someday,
Yes. Let's hope that we can find some sort of solitude from him.
We will.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn in for the night.
She kind of nods and pats him on the back.
He grabs her hand and just... Don't stay out too late, okay? We have early morning to continue our journey.
Well, how do you think I got so strong?
Alright. Well, and he makes his way back towards the camp, and you can see him starting to set up his bedrolls and stuff.
Mm-hmm. She follows behind as well,
Sure,
coming back to the camp.
Okay. Alright. Is there anything else anybody would like to do?
I wanted to ask around for inks and papers, please.
Okay. There is no short supply here. Go ahead and do a persuasion check, just in general.
Hell yeah, can I give myself help with Luna? Like, oh my god, look at this beautiful...
She eats paper. I need her to...
How? How would you use... Oh, goodness. If you can make your case with how you would use Luna to acquire pen and paper...
It's like
I
when you
will allow
talk
it.
to, like, when you're like walking with your dog, right? And you want to get too closer to a person.
Okay,
You
so you're
present
trying to
them
make
to your
Luna
pet.
super cute, and everybody's like,
the
oh my
audio listeners.
god!
Johan's
Of
rolled a
course.
natural 1 immediately in persuasion.
Okay, all right.
So sad.
Okay, so you get the advantage for 12. Okay. You're able to acquire about 5 gold pieces worth of
God
pen and
damn
paper.
it.
But
Alright. 5 gold pieces?
That's a
yeah,
hustle.
which honestly, in D&D terms, 5 gold pieces is a lot.
I need 50 gold for a level 1 spell.
In
That's
Wizards
not at all.
terms,
That ain't much.
it is
Fuck all.
fuck all.
This is a wandering
have-
band of travelers. You expect them to just give you 50 gold worth?
They're
I
like, here,
expected,
take
like,
350 gold piece worth of paper.
I have 16 gold pieces worth of paper and ink now.
If you get 10 more 5 gold pieces worth of paper, you'll have enough.
There you go.
There you
That's
go.
how math
Easy.
works.
That's how math works.
Fantastic.
All right, so
I'll just,
sure.
sitting at the edge of the lake, I'll kind of just lay back as I see probably things are starting to die down. Maybe it doesn't die down. I don't know. But I'll just kind of lay back onto the ground, whether it's dirt or sand or and just
At the edge of the water.
Yeah. I'll
Cool.
just look up into the stars. Well, not stars, the misty sky.
Yeah. Yeah. As you're laying there, you begin to hear footprints coming near you. You instinctually look to find a younger Vistani woman, about late 20s, approaching you. She's wearing an extravagant purple and gold flowy outfit and is holding 2 glasses of wine in her hands. She reaches one out to you as you lay down onto the ground, and she says, "My name is Fatima, and you are Grimm, right?"
Yes. And I'll sit up and I'll take the glass.
Sure. She sits just next to you, looking out at the water. Begins sipping on the wine. So, what brings you to Barovia?
Don't know that I have much to say to that.
Well, if you don't know,
The mists, I suppose.
interesting.
Kinda herded.
If you don't know, then why are you here?
Trying to find out why.
Well, if we're trying to find out, maybe I can ask you some questions.
Kind of
Let's
like
see.
narrow my eyes, not at her, but like towards the water as I kind of start
Sure.
listening.
Okay. This is what I do with my friends, just to see, where our goals lie and all of that. If you were given the chance, would you drop everything and travel the world? Right now. If I was to say, Grimm, give me all of your belongings, and I will give you that cart over there, and you can take it wherever you want it. Safely, of course. Would you go?
I don't answer as I kind of just stare into the water.
She looks back over towards the water. I would. But, of course, that's what I've always known. So I guess a better question for me would be if I would drop everything to stay in one place. I see why this is a difficult one to answer. I don't think I would. I truly like being able to go wherever I want. Meet different people like you. It makes the world better. Okay. You don't have to answer that one. It is a difficult one. If you were stuck to save a lover or a family, and you can only choose one, which would you choose?
The family.
Interesting. See, I'm the opposite. I don't know anything about them. How would I know that their family is a good group of people? You know? I do know who my person is, and most likely they are good people, right? Well, I would save them.
I don't even know why that answer came to me, but
Do you feel comfortable answering the one before now? Would you drop everything to travel the world? Or would you stay with your friends here?
I kind of shake my head no. I don't think so.
Interesting. Okay, what about this one? If you were given the chance to become powerful, than anyone before you. No questions asked. Would you take it?
I don't answer again. But kind of just slowly, just naturally shake my head no, but not in like a way to answer the question, just like instinctually, just...
I would use it to help the people around me. And she looks back towards the camp. Though, Madame Ava always says that power is a difficult balancing act between good and evil, and that one should only seek it if they have a plan of how to use it. She says that otherwise it would be too easy for a person to unconsciously slip into the evil deeds, even if the person themselves aren't evil. Oh well. Okay, and she slams onto the ground. Not slams, but like pats onto the ground. Well, I've had enough chat. Would you like to dance? She puts out her hand.
No, thank you. Thank you.
I see.
For the drink here.
Of course. Well, I enjoyed our conversation nonetheless. I hope you enjoyed your night, and if you change your mind, you know where to find me. And she points over to a tent at the edge of camp and then winks. And then turns around and begins making her way back towards the camp.
I kind of give her a nod. And as soon as she's gone, I kind of just pour the drink out. Just...
Oh my gosh.
Fucking bitch! Just...
That full hooded robe's a real lady killer.
I mean, I put it... I don't, like, do it in, like, angst or, like, hatred.
Sure.
I just kind of gently pour it out.
Disinterest.
Sure.
Yeah, disinterest, and I kind of just put it down.
Yep.
And then Ryan thinks in his head, with great power comes great responsibility.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
And I lay back
Is there anything
down
else?
I look at this guy.
Sure. Is there anybody else that wants to do anything?
If we're like everyone's kind of going to sleep, it's late at night kind of thing, if that's what we're going towards.
Yeah.
Blaire's just taking the moment to she'll let like the atmosphere of the camp kind of get to her, because it reminded her a lot of other travels she's had before.
Yeah.
So she takes a moment of reflection, staring into the emblem that she took from one of her old party members, and just kind of thinks about things, and she remembers something. And if Ireena is still awake at this late hour, she would like to talk to her if she's awake.
She's awake. Yeah. I was gonna have her like ask around about Esmeralda. She's definitely awake, kind of like eyeing the Vistani of like, okay, who should I ask? So you see her probably like sitting somewhere, like still babysitting her wine.
I would...
Blaire, go ahead and do a con save.
Okay.
You've been drinking pretty heavily, so I just want to see what we're looking at right now. Yeah, you're good.
Plus
15,
blood
that's fine.
Kills it.
Of course, yeah. You just... It's gone.
Well,
Burns out too quickly because of how radiantly hot your blood is.
Ireena, you get a little tug on the back of your sleeve.
She kind of looks around and, good evening, Blaire. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. She's a little bit more somber than she was earlier when picking up Marco. Still holding the emblem. It's like, I remembered something, and maybe it's not so important now, but the reason me and my order came to Barovia was on a contract. I didn't know the details of it, but I remember that the contract was from, well, I believe it was from your father. You were the one that we were sent to protect. And I know we're in a party now, but as both a soldier and your friend, I wanted to let you know that you'll be protected. We'll get through this together, and we'll take care of this.
She nods, and she kind of gives her kind of like a warm, like kind of comforted smile, and wow, I really appreciate that. As I'm sure you know, it's you have to be careful with who you can trust here, and I feel very lucky to consider you all friends as well as people willing to protect me.
Though our circumstances of meeting may not be the best from what everyone's gone through individually, I think it was good that we've met you and Ismark. And I'm looking forward to traveling onwards with everybody.
Yes, I'm very glad as well. I'm sorry for the difficulties that you've had to face coming here. And I will also do my best to not be a dead weight and to help carry the burden as well. Not cause too much trouble.
The way you fought last time, I doubt you'll be a dead weight.
Well, that's what I try. She kind of like sticks her glass out to clink with you. The little bit she's got left.
Clink.
Clink.
Clink. Perfect. All right. Does Ireena find enough courage to walk up to one of the Vistana?
Yeah.
A Vistana.
She's going to kind of look around and see. She's kind of like gauging to see who isn't looking too terribly out of their mind drunk. People are, it seems, I get the vibe that this is like a party and celebration, so she's trying to look to see like who's kind of got their wits about them and who might seem like they might know things. Maybe it might be in the know.
Go ahead and do an insight check as you're kind of looking around the camp.
Ooh.
Remember to click off of GM screen, but that was a 21.
Oh, so sorry.
You're good. No, you're good. I think I put that on there.
Public, there you go.
But it was a 21. And so, yeah, as you're looking around, you can definitely see that a lot of the younger folk are more into the dancing and drinking and celebrating. You see that Marco, the one that you had actually spoken with before, seems to be like the overseer of sorts. He is drinking, but he seems to just be kind of too old for this shit, kind of, sitting down next to the fire, just watching everybody
He's relaxing.
party, and he's just smiling. But I mean, I shit you not, that was another natural 20.
Wow.
Marco! Wow.
Marco is just
on
on it. So
on
he just
fire.
he's looking
He
towards
sees
the
right
party,
through us.
and then he whoop right to you, and he sees you, and he has seen this look before of people wanting to talk, and he looks to a seat just next to him, and he pats down, and he says, kind of waves you over.
Okay, she kind of excuses herself from Blaire, and I am going to see if I can perhaps find some information out from Marco. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Blaire. And she goes, yeah. She goes to talk to Marco. Takes a seat next to him.
He doesn't look towards you. He just continues looking towards the dancing people. I've seen that look before. You have questions?
And I'm hoping you have answers.
Well, I am hoping as well. How can I help you?
Do you know of a Vistana named Esmeralda who travels by herself?
Yeah, I've heard stories of her. She actually left here quite a while ago.
A while? Do you mean days, weeks? What?
Ah, no, years ago.
Years, I see.
I heard she was not taken, but she had left with the monster hunter, Van Richten.
I see. She intended to hunt monsters here.
Apparently, nobody stopped her. The Vistani way is that we pride ourselves in family, but if you are not, to follow our culture, that is your decision. You will always be regarded as family, and she decided to follow her own path, which is fine. As for where she is now, I cannot say.
What does she look like?
Unfortunately, I did not ever meet her in person, and anybody here who might have would give you a bad description, as it's been years.
I see. Do you, know anything about the Van Richten fellow you mentioned?
Yes, he's a famous monster hunter. He travels through mist after mist to find monsters for him to slay. Other than that, I don't know very much about him.
I see. Well, I appreciate the info.
Of course.
Hope that, well, if what Madame Eva says is true, I suppose our paths will cross when the time is right.
I just told one of your companions that something that I was told. I found a way to break that. So whatever Madame Eva has told you, you are the one that creates your own fate. Just know that going forward.
I appreciate that.
Well, seems like things are starting to die down. I think I will retire for the night.
Good night, Marco. Thank you
Good
again
night.
for your hospitality.
Of course. It is the Vistani way to show our guests the most honorable experiences.
She kind of
Puts
smiles.
a hand on your shoulder.
Oh.
Oh, no, it's fine.
No,
What were
you're
you going to
good.
say?
She just like smiles at him.
Yeah. He'll stand up from his chair, put a hand on your shoulder in like a fatherly way. Because he is much older than you are.
Yeah. I got the vibes that he was like an older gentleman.
And he just looks at you and he nods and he says, "It will be okay." And he puts his hand down and he leaves the campfire, returning to one of the carts nearby, and he opens up the door and closes it behind him.
Yeah. Ireena goes to find the rest of the group and go get sleep.
Okay. So, with everybody beginning to find their way into slumber, Grimm, you lay on the shores, hearing the water moving. And though you're not sleeping, you go into this meditative state. Your consciousness slips, and you begin to see visions flashing before you in a confusing cinema. Over and over, you're exposed to these different sights, but they make no sense. And then it goes black for a second. And then you hear the same omniscient voice that you had heard before in your previous dream. Reaper. Visions then begin to come at you faster than ever, showing of mutilation, of blood, of being burned alive. And then that of a windmill, slowly turning, creaking from the wind. Feel a heavy knot in your stomach until the flashes stop at one image. That of the old woman you had met as you entered the village. Granny, what she named herself. You hear the same omniscient voice once again saying, "Collect the souls of the wicked one." You're then thrown out of your vision as you awaken to find yourself standing now, outside of the camp and the forest surrounding it. You can see the campfire's light flickering on one of the nearby trees. You look down, and in your hands, you find that you're writing in a large book. The papers seem ancient and brittle, yet they don't break. Begin inspecting it, and you see the leather cover is faded. It has iron clasps on the side of it that have rusted. As you lift your hand from the page, you see that you have drawn an art depiction of Granny in your book, and just above it, I've written "Wicked."
Hello? What is this?
No answer.
I look back at the page and I kind of run my hands against the page. I'll close it. How big is this thing?
It's not huge. It's about, I would say, I mean, the size of a normal book, you know, it's like maybe, what would that be? Like 5-6 inches to the side, 5 inches. Yeah, 5 by 7-ish. Maybe a little bit bigger.
I open it back up to see if I was imagining it.
Nope.
Just a nice, accurate drawing of her face.
Very accurate.
Close it again. And you said I'm a pretty good distance away from the little Vistani
You must
thing.
have, in this semi-conscious state, walked further away from the camp. And you're, I mean, you can still see the campfire if you look through the trees, but you're pretty far away.
I look around in the forest around me. Is there anything else I see in this
Go ahead and do a perception check.
general vicinity? Or general Vistani?
No.
You get disadvantage to this roll because of that
No.
dumb joke.
Ah!
Oh,
a 10.
no.
What could have been?
Okay,
So a 10
anyways.
then.
Yeah.
So, as you look around, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. You hear the sounds of crows and ravens. You every once in a while hear the sound of a wolf howling. But as you look around, it doesn't seem like anything is around you.
I'll kind of hastily make my way back to the camp and see if anything's changed.
Sure. Looking around, it doesn't seem like anything's changed. Everybody's fallen asleep. You do see a few Vistani that are just kind of keeping tabs and just watching.
I'll go back to the water again.
Sure.
Make sure nobody's kind of around me, and I kind of open the book, and I
Okay.
kind of take the innocent card that I got from Ava, and I'll stash it in like the inside sleeve of the book.
Yeah.
Or the front of it, and close it back and put it in my cloak.
Sure.
And I'll just once again start staring into the water, trying to now process that.
Take on that. Yeah. Okay, well, while Grimm processes that, we're going to go to break. We will be right back here in a few minutes. So stick with us.
Approximately 15 minutes.
Hopefully.
About. So we'll see you all in 15 minutes.
See you soon.
The games we play are the stories we create.
The fortress doors swing open,
Every story is unique.
and the sound of war drums rises.
Sometimes our stories come to us when we least expect them. We need to be ready no matter where inspiration strikes. And sometimes our stories are told over great distances. No matter where your journey leads you or how your story is told. The games we play are the stories we create. Sirenscape can help make yours epic.
Sirenscape is searchable, fast, and customizable from any device with no need to pre-install any sound. Adding epic atmosphere to your game has never been easier.
Skull Splitter Dice has something for every adventurer. The dice that you use could be the difference between life or death. With over 15 styles of metal dice, a variety of class-based cases, and other gaming accessories, we have something for every gamer. Our products are perfect for Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, and more. Be the envy of your party and get yours while supplies last by going to skullsplitterdice.com. Again, that's skullsplitterdice.com.
So I just want to start by saying I'm just going to read off the description of the spell Finger of Death because this is important to what I'm going to do.
That's also good to know, yes.
So Finger of Death, you send negative energy coursing through a creature that you can see within range, causing it searing pain. Okay, this is the key part of my wish. You see, I'm going to wish for a mirror. Okay, I'm going to wish for a mirror. I'm going to put it right in front of me and my partner at the same moment when Vecna has already cast this spell, all right? So Who's the only person Vecna can see after this spell is cast? Well, that's Vecna. So Vecna's gonna finger of death himself. Boom.
He's gonna finger himself.
That's right. To death.
I was holding it back. Okay.
All right. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are back here again after a nice long rest. Everybody gets to level up! Woo! So now we are... Yep, the Ravenloft Misfits are now level 4. So, going in order, Ireena, would you like to take the average, or would you like to roll the dice?
Oh, I will roll the dice.
All right. Let's see. Go ahead and roll a hit dice then. And make sure it's not on GM. Oh, but it totally was great!
But it's on GM, I'm so sorry!
It was a 14 full. She has a +4 on con, so that's a 10 with that 4, so that is 14.
I guess we'll have to trust ya.
I can screenshot it for you, I'm so sorry.
I can see it on my end, so that's all that matters.
I just changed it back to public. I'm so sorry.
It is all good. I tried to catch it before it happened, but it is what it is. No worries. All right. Oh, shoot. I did it with Ireena. My bad. All right, Blaire.
Okay, hit.
I was gonna say.
It's supposed to go in alphabetical order. Yeah, Blaire, go ahead. Let's make Ryan's job a little harder.
It's all right.
Also a 14.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
You had one
Dang.
job, Jonny.
I know I did. I really did. I really
Fuck
did.
up the captions again too. See
My
if I won't.
goodness.
Is that a 14? Cool.
That's a 14 for Blaire. Okay. Grimm, your turn.
Yes.
You are taking a level into...
To Warlock, and it's gonna be a D8 no matter what between the Cleric and Warlock. So
Sure.
Constitution.
Just for the...
11. That's pretty dang solid.
That's not the right one. You just rolled a D20.
Oh.
Yeah,
You're right.
I wish I
Dice.
could do that.
You're totally right. I
Trying to
did.
get some more help. I see
You
you.
did roll an 8 though. To be fair.
Yeah. Whoopsies.
He did
Did roll an
eight.
8.
I meant to just roll. Some reason I forgot that rolling Constitution wouldn't just do my hit dice plus the 3.
Yeah, dog.
Whatever, man.
Sick.
So it's 8
Watch
plus.
you roll an 11 as well.
Yeah. Let's see.
This is so scuffed.
That'll be a 1.
Hit dice. 5.
Ooh. Rolled a 2. Literally the lowest you could have
That's
gotten right there.
Fine.
Ouch.
That's
All right.
fine.
Watch me get a 3.
I know, right?
Actually,
And
that's
that
honestly
brings us
not
to...
fine.
It's not. It's not fine. Maybe in the future levels you can do average instead to try and boost it up so that just be safe for a little bit.
I guess.
Also
D&D if
brings
you
up a
don't
point.
gamble.
In our home game, oh my gosh. People. In our home game, this guy made a blade singing wizard. And I swear
This guy.
he
rolled
became
max
level
health.
6, he joined into it.
Every
Every
roll.
single one was a 6. Every single one. His health for a wizard was more than our party's artificer. It was insane. It was insane.
It was wild.
Anyways,
Yeah.
It's okay,
Yeah.
it's making up
Let's
for it
talk
now,
about the
though,
grains
with
of a
my
different
garbage
wizard.
health.
That's- I
Karma's
get it.
coming
I
back.
see how it is.
Johans,
Yeah, no,
let's see a hit die roll. Unless you want to take average, it's up to you.
You
I
did
already
say
rolled.
3.
I got a 3. I told you. I told you I
right,
was gonna roll
well-
a 3.
Again, the lowest that you could have gotten was a 3.
It is not
Ouch.
D&D if we don't gamble. Let's go.
Absolutely. All right, and that finally brings us to Katya.
Yeah, we roll
Would you
in
like
this
to
house.
take average? All right.
No, we roll in this house, and I hope
Let's see
I
it.
roll better than that.
Hey, look at that. 14. Nice.
14
At least
14 club. Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
some of our people are rolling pretty good.
Can I ask a quick question?
Absolutely. What's your question?
We talked about this, but what were we rolling for?
You're rolling for hit dice? What do you,
Yeah, for your new
what?
health.
For
For your level 4.
HP.
Okay, cool. I heard it, and then I immediately forgot it. So I was like, okay, we're
So,
rolling.
I was so lost. I was like, what do you mean?
Katya's new health is actually 1 more than what says on that character sheet. I only went up to 13 because for some reason I thought you had a +3 in con and not
all-
a +4. So
All good. So you got 50 HP.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Ryan. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Didn't think
so-
you were going to get a full 10.
So
well, I didn't know.
it's-
I didn't realize you had a higher con.
I know.
How do we add it?
How do you add it?
great
You
question.
are able to just go into your
There's a little
character
number
sheet.
right above.
Oh, the hit point
Yeah.
maximum.
Yeah, that's the one. So hit point maximum, since you got 3.
21.
21.
I can finally drink alcohol.
So my hit points are 49 now? Because it was 35 plus 14?
Yeah. I have 50 now, and I had one more than you before,
Yeah.
so yeah.
49.
What my spell
49.
supposed to look like? Or...
Wow.
And I'm at 30. A big whopping huge 30.
Love that for
Woof.
you.
Level 4. 4, 4, 3.
Love that for
Yeah,
all
look
of
at
us, honestly.
You do too?
Jeez.
I got myself a feat.
Hey.
Just one more and you
All
can
right.
walk.
Well,
5's a lot less than 11.
I hate you,
true.
Zach. I hate you, Zach. Don't think that didn't get past.
That just caught
like
up,
that.
huh? That was a little slow on the uptake, but
Oh
that's
no,
all right.
I heard it immediately. I just was too busy like
It just
If
got
Johnny
them
hadn't said
hating
that,
it.
it would have just gone completely over my head.
I hate it.
I hate you, Zach.
like I'm not proud of
So
it.
dumb.
But it had to be said.
For everybody
I
that
hate it,
might
but
have
also
missed it,
continue.
We don't
He's-
need to. No, we don't need to relive. They can
Oh, no, we
rewind.
do.
They can rewind. It's fine.
Johan said, "Hey, I got a
Johan
feat,"
said.
and then Zach was like, "One more and you can walk."
What?
You know what? I take it back. I am proud of that. That's comedy
Also, it
genius.
hasn't come
DM
up, but
inspiration.
We talked about it
Thank you.
after last session. All my spells do cold damage now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we agreed on.
Yep.
So I'm
Nice.
an icy boy. And
Icy boy.
Good flavor.
Need a
All right.
hug.
So, now that everybody is well rested, let's change
yeah,
the
we
mood
are.
here. So, you all awaken to the smell of food and the sound of people moving about the camp. A large fire burns in the cold morning and welcomes each of you around it. And at the edge of camp, you see a group of Vistani surrounding a cart, while others place harnesses on the horses nearby. Near the cart, you see Estella, kneeled next to her gear, seeming to be praying. And as she finishes, she looks to each of you with a big smile on her face and approaches you and... Well, good morning, everyone. I'm going to be leaving soon with these wonderful folk, and so I just wanted to say that we've been through so much together, and it was tough for me to make this decision, but I haven't had a strong connection with Elistray since we've been here, and they promised a chance to see the moon, so I have to take that chance. And one of the things that I haven't been able to do while we were here is help people, so that's what they plan to do. And, of course, with the Tarroka raiding, seems that this is kind of my destiny all along, and I'm gonna have to pursue it. So,
If that is your decision, we will respect it. But it was an honor fighting beside you.
she puts her hand up. And from the short time that I've known each of you, I'm thankful for making your acquaintance. Thank you all for helping me get to this place and getting me out of that sticky situation at the basement. I'm gonna hold all of you dearly
Likewise.
in my heart as I travel here with these fine folk. I hope to see each of you soon.
Johans is gonna take a piece of paper. He's gonna write something on it. He's gonna rip it out. He hands it over to her and he says, "This is a general direction to where I stay typically when I'm not stuck in the middle of a mist-taken country. If we ever make it out of here alive, I owe you a drink."
Kind of opens it. All right. And after this brief moment, you see the cart is now finished getting ready as the Vistani travelers gather everybody. They call to Estella, who begins walking away and turns back and then nods to each of you and jumps on the cart as it lurches forward and they begin to leave camp. So, as you see your friend leaving the camp, she waves, and what would you like to do as the cart finally turns around a corner and is no longer seen?
Were they going a different way than we're going?
Same way. Or, sorry, different direction. They're going back towards the village that you guys had just came from. Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Right, because that's where
so it's not just like an awkward, like, all right, see y'all later, and then like you guys start traveling the same direction.
Yeah.
You're like,
That
okay,
just, okay.
Anyways,
You guys kind of look around. Grimm wasn't a part of this little dynamic. And if you guys look for Grimm, you'll see that Grimm is walking alongside the lake right now, kind of just the outskirts of it, just slowly, maybe skipping some rocks on one side of it, or at least attempting to.
Do a dex check.
Dex check.
Oh no.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Natural 20.
Oh my god.
I
was gonna say it
have
out
a
loud,
flash
but
in my
Rolling
head.
hot. Rolling hot. All right, well,
You're a pro.
in this,
You used to be a skipping master.
right? In this,
Levels up as-
in this moment, there are no waves in this small lake. It is slightly making its way to the east, but enough to where you find a nice rock, and it just continues skipping.
I look on at complete, not shock, but like surprise. I mean, I guess shock and surprise are very similar, but not as like in your face, like, you know,
Yeah.
shocked. Is like,
Really reserved. The perfect
Ismark.
cast.
Ismark notices that Grimm is not there and knows where you were before, so he makes his way over to the lake just in time to see it because, I mean, he has to see you do that. And he
Someone
comes up and he's like, wow. And he picks up a rock himself. All right, well, that was a 10. Plus his dex is probably +1. So he gets a decent one. It, skips about 6 times, then... Well, you'll have to teach me your secret.
yeah.
Everything okay?
You lived in Barovia all of your life, you've said, right?
Yep.
That old woman who makes pies, has she been there? As long as you can remember?
Granny? Yeah. As long as I can remember.
She was an interesting, very friendly.
She's always... I don't know. She's always struck me in the wrong way. Something... off. He rolled a 17 on his insight.
Nice.
Which...
Is there
him...
a windmill back in your town?
No, but I've heard that there is one, and he pulls out the map. I've heard there's one over here. Points over to this place right there. Why?
Well, ever since I woke up, I've gotten visions of different things, of different, maybe memories.
Right, you were telling me about that.
Last night, I had something else, though. It was a vision guiding me towards this windmill.
Hmm.
And it had something to do with Granny.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to this windmill. Like I said, this is the furthest I've ever been from Barovia. Well, the village of Barovia. Whatever it is, we'll do it together. We'll take a look at whatever is within the windmill, and we will help you.
Yeah, that rock. I don't know what the heck that was. I don't.
That was. He picks up another one and he tries to at least do a little bit better, and he just completely. Well, rolled a 4. Well, yeah, you'll have to show me someday how to do that. But I think everybody is trying to get ready so that we can go.
I'll nod my head. I will depart from the lake and head towards the tent where Ava was, Madame Ava.
Okay.
But that's what I will do next.
Sure. Is anybody else doing anything at this time?
Yes. I wanted to ask around for the potential whereabouts of Gertruda. The
Okay.
little girl that
Sure.
that
Go ahead and do a investigation check.
Can I help,
Yes.
actually? I would be interested in that.
investigation.
And then
You
another
said-
one. Because,
right.
yeah, Katya's helping you. 22.
Boom.
As much as you try, nobody here has even heard of a Gertruda.
Oh, shit.
Nor have they seen any little girl going through the forest recently. Blaire, looks like you want to do something.
Yes, Blaire wants to probably talk to Marco. Ask Marco a question.
Sure. He's cooking currently on like a over the fire and just sitting down and sees you coming. Little strong one. Blaire the Mighty. How can I help you?
Not too far away, because after out of character, after the battle in the grove, we slept, right? And then we
Right.
came to the town. Okay.
Yeah.
So about a day or so ago, we were in a clearing, and we found a group of soldiers that were attacked and hung. Would you know anything about either hearing an attack or knowing of anything about it or what might have caused it?
I haven't heard anything about that. We've been here for about a week now, so it's a little bit more than a week, but I haven't heard anything about any battles. I'm sorry.
Have you seen a man come through here at all?
Man,
He
you don't
would've-
get travelers here very much.
He would have gone by the name of Salt.
Zalt? I didn't see anybody. I can keep my eye out and tell everybody else to look out for him.
That would be wonderful. He would have
Okay.
this emblem on him, and then I show him that is now fastened as a brooch of some kind on my vest, that dragon emblem.
And he looks at it, he says, Is that the Order of the Silver Dragon?
It is.
You know, they come from Barovia. There's a, what is the name of it? I don't remember the name of the place, but it's a ruins. Past Valakai. A few days' travel. The other Vistani at the camp near Valakai said that they go there every once in a while to see if they can salvage any items. You might want to look there.
I think I will.
Maybe your friend is there?
I hope so.
Me too. And he grabs like a piece of the food and hands it over. Here. Make sure that you are well fed before you all travel.
Thank you. We have much ahead of us.
I'd say. And he just continues cooking.
I walk back to the group.
Anyone else? Okay. So, after eating and maybe drinking, if you want, each of you pack up your things.
Oh,
setting it
I
into
was going
the
to
cart.
the tent. I was going to the tent.
Right, you were going
Yeah,
into the
sorry.
tent.
Sorry.
Right. No, you're good. You're good. Okay, so you pull back the drapes of the entrance into Madame Ava's tent, and you see her just sitting there, basically seeming to expect you entering her tent. She looks to you. Logan, Grimm, I still don't know which one you would like.
I suppose that's something we'll find out in time.
How can I help you?
I'll walk in and I'll sit down on one of the cushions. What can you tell me about the windmill?
She looks into the crystal ball. See, a dangerous evil there. It's shrouded. Difficult to see details. Why, if I may ask?
Well, you clearly know magic of divination and such. Ever since I awoke in my grave, I've been having these visions as well. Last night I had a vision of a windmill and an old woman. I'm just trying to figure out what it means.
It is not a limit of my power. It is that something is blocking me from seeing. I don't know what it is. I would tread carefully if you aim to enter the windmill.
And I take out my book that I was given, and I open it up back to the very first page where I have the card of the innocent. I still don't understand this card, this person. How is it that I have no memory of anything?
You will soon learn your past and your future. I'm not the one to tell you, though. I'm only here to guide you.
I'll bow my head and say thank you.
I hope you do find what you're looking for, though.
I'll put the card back in my book, put the book closed, put it back in my robe.
Oh, and here. And she turns around and throws you a pair of boots. I saw that you were looking for some, so here.
Yes, I was about
Don't
to
worry,
go.
they fit.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'll put them on, and then I'll take my raggedy boots and say, I'll just
Yeah, put them out there, not in here.
and I'll walk outside the tent. with my new boots.
New boots. All right.
Were made for walking.
Side quest completed.
And that's just what they'll do. Yeah.
All right, campaign's over. Let's go.
50
We did
XP
it.
points.
Level 5.
Turns out Curse of Strahd, it wasn't actually a curse. It was
Yeah.
just your lack of shoes.
To get shoes.
The mist
That's
goes
it.
away. Look, it's the sun.
I'll meet the
right.
party.
Sure.
I cast
So I imagine-
vegetation to clean Grimm out. a little
Okay.
bit. So
Yeah, Grimm's looking spiffy, nice and clean. All right. If there is nothing else before we start the travel.
Actually,
Okay. Oh, okay.
I think
That's
we're
fine.
ready to go.
All right. So, you all pack up your things, putting them in the back of the cart, and make your way down the road. Let's.
As usual, I have Luna. I'm on guard duty with Luna.
Sure.
eyes and
Yeah.
flying.
Go ahead and do a perception check. With advantage because you were using Luna as well. Ooh, 13. Okay.
13.
All right. Going forward, I will keep that in mind. So,
Just for the record, that's one better than my passive.
nailed it.
Every point
All
counts.
right. So, you travel throughout the day and using Ismark's token as our little marker here.
Look at DM.
Toward the evening of the first day of travel, you follow the river to the base of a canyon, and at the far end of which you see a waterfall that spills into a pool, billowing forth clouds of cold mist, and a great stone bridge that spans the canyon with nearly 1,000 feet overhead the body of water below. You all cross the bridge with no difficulty, and after crossing, you find a place to set up camp for the night. Is there anything anybody would like to do with this night?
I mean, I assume I would suggest like we take like guard duty.
Watch. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Sure.
like we're now in unsafer territory.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
we
should definitely
split
do a
the-
watch.
Okay.
I'll say like I can definitely keep lookout since I don't sleep
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
You
I'm
don't
gonna
sleep?
take my old boots and I'm gonna walk them to the edge.
Yeah. Do you look?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Cool guys don't look.
No, I would argue differently, but whatever.
Depends on what you're looking at.
Do a
No,
dex
I'm
save.
not gonna make you. I'm not gonna make you. No, not that. It was like a con save. Are you afraid of heights? Is Grimm afraid of heights?
Ooh.
We'll find out.
Let's find out.
Because 1,000 feet is like.
That's wild.
I'm gonna do a wisdom save.
I'm afraid of heights, so I would fall
haven't
if I were to look over. I would
I've
like
never
fall
seen
down.
that.
I think at first, as I look over the edge, I have that flash of the vision of me jumping off,
That's
yes.
100 stories.
and then
Yeah.
I remember flying back up, and I do feel at ease.
Sure.
But there is that uncomfortable like
Yeah.
as I have
Yeah.
that flash.
That vision flashes, and you're kind of taken aback a little bit. But you all find a camp on the other side of the bridge, and who is going to take first watch?
Blaire could do it.
Blaire and
and Grimm.
you
I
don't
guess.
need a second person because Grimm is pretty much the partner throughout the night since he's
Oh.
not needing to sleep. So, okay, one of you go ahead and do a perception check with advantage,
Probably me.
Oh.
Oh, that's fine.
Sorry.
or two of them. That's fine, either way.
I'll do the second one then.
Yeah, you do that.
Sure.
Nice.
Noise,
Oh.
17. Both are 17.
Nice.
Okay, your watch goes uneventful. And
We play
who's the
cards.
next one that Katya, you take?
Oh, yeah, I could take a watch, but I did want to say something real quick.
Sure.
Just for context, that waterfall is almost exactly one Empire State Building.
Oh wow.
That's
Yeah.
a big waterfall.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty,
huge.
it's pretty
I
tall.
don't know what that.
It's pretty tall.
Oh,
I've never been on the Empire State Building, but I've seen pictures of looking straight down, and it is scary.
I've looked
The
straight
only
up at it
thing
and it's very
that-
tall.
The only thing that comes to mind when I hear Empire State Building is Percy Jackson. That's it.
Okay. That's
Oh,
not
that doesn't. I don't know.
entirely wrong. That's not wrong.
I don't know what that's
Yeah.
referencing to, but
It's a-
Percy Jackson.
well, I mean, thank you, everybody. I know that. I know what Percy Jackson is. I just
Well, you
don't
didn't
know
get
what
the
it's
reference.
reference. Never mind.
the
We're
Empire
moving on.
State
Who's
Building.
taking the next
yeah,
fucking watch?
That's
yeah.
where Olympus is in the story, Johnny. Mount Olympus is replaced by the Empire State Building.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I can take the next watch.
All right, Ireena, you take the next watch
sure.
with Grimm. Go ahead and do another perception roll with advantage. Anybody or your separate ones, all up to you.
You can take it if you like.
All right. First roll is 11. Second roll is an
And-
18.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Your watch goes uneventful. Is there anything you want to do, or goes through?
How's it's just been you and your brother your whole life, and your father?
Yes, pretty much. I mean, there's the people in the town, and it's pretty much been us, though.
I don't remember if you ever mentioned your mother. I imagine she's no longer with us.
No, she's not. It's that you have to be thankful for the family that you do have, right?
I'll just nod my head. I suppose. I wonder what my family was like.
Well, you could always start a new family.
That's true. I guess in some
Somet-
ways, us traveling together makes us a family. In a
Yeah, some.
weird
Oh, sorry.
way.
Go ahead.
That's it. That's all I was gonna say.
You're good. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes, your family are people that you find. I agree.
That fight that we had the other day doesn't seem like you quite need the protection. Obviously, I know the more people to help, the better, but you seem very capable.
Well, I've had to be. I try my best, but I guess sometimes I fear that just my best won't be enough. I don't think I can do this on my own, and I'm strong, sure, but this place is very dangerous.
Yeah, it seems like everything out here is there to kill us. Even that mansion in your town. There's a close one back there. A monster just rose up out of a heap of bodies. I just stood there looking at it as it, I'm sure, would have crushed me.
But you're strong.
We did make it out. That is true. Well, We'll make it to Valakai in no time. These days have been going by. Definitely feels better now that I have these boots, though. Walking around with holes in your shoes definitely is different than walking around with at least some comfort of actual boots.
Yes, I'd imagine so. I can't say I know the feeling, but I'm glad that you were able to get some proper boots. For what it's worth, if you weren't able to get any back there at the camp, I would have contributed to get you some in Valakai. Barovia is... You saw the state there. It's a bit lacking, but perhaps things will be different in Valakai. It's a much bigger town.
As we sit here, is there still the mountain range just blocking our pathway view of the castle? Or can we see it from here?
From here, I believe... Let me take a look at the real map here. Make sure. From here, yeah, there's mountains blocking your view of the castle. Yeah.
That's fine.
That, and it's kind of hard to see that far anyways, just because of... With night comes colder weather, which means more mist.
More mist.
What, when we were talking to Madame Ava, what do you think she meant by this woman she was asking you to find?
Well, I think that this woman can help us. She's traveling with a gentleman, I found out, a monster hunter of sorts, a von Richten. So,
did that trigger anything for me?
No.
Okay.
It does not.
A monster hunter.
Yes. Perhaps the both of them can be of help.
I wonder if he's ever set foot in these lands. I'll kind of just sit back against the log and kind of just think.
Okay. Well, your watch comes to a close as... Who comes to relieve Ireena?
Oh,
Katya.
there's 4? Oh, I was
3.
going to say the last one.
I'm on it.
Gotcha.
Blaire, Ireena. I mean, both of you can roll for it. I don't know. Whoever wants to take that last one, it's up to you.
Then y'all
Actually,
already
both
doing?
of you could take it if you really wanted to. I mean,
I don't mind either way. It's up to you.
all right, roll for it. We'll decide. We'll let the dice gods decide.
I'm gonna roll a Constitution to see if I even wake up. I will.
Okay. All right, that's a
9.
19. That's a 18, and you got a 9. All right, Johans, you're the one that wakes up.
I'm going back to sleep.
I'm gonna clean my clothes with prestidigitation.
In the process of Ireena going back to sleep,
Remix.
I'll take out my new found book and I'll kind of just start examining it.
Sure. Go ahead and do a perception check just to see how this goes. With advantage, of course. It's up to you two, but I imagine that Grimm probably has a higher perception.
For the...
Oh,
yeah,
me?
for the watch. Yeah.
For the
yeah.
watch.
22 and a 17. I
Nice.
totally forgot about doing the perception for the watch.
No, you did. You did the other one.
Are you trying to make me look at my book?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
How well do you
You
perceive
find a
your
secret
hands?
compartment. No.
No, it turns out
yeah,
it's
so
like,
okay.
like a Game Boy. You can't.
Yeah,
see
right,
'cause there's no light. You're like,
It's not backlit.
Yeah. All right, so you have 22 for your watch. Go ahead, whatever you were doing.
Which,
Yeah,
by
I'm
the way,
just-
I also have Luna with me.
Of course.
Obviously.
I'm just looking at the pages. I'm looking to see if there's anything else in this book other
John
than
just
that
sits
one
next
drawing.
to Grimm, like this. he kind of does, leans to the side, just goes, "Good morning."
You all right? Do you need some more sleep?
No, I'm good. What about you? Are you tired?
No. I don't really get tired.
Hmm.
Not anymore. If I ever did.
That sounds sad.
You know magic.
I do know that. Yes.
You want to take a look at this book here and
Yes. He's already reaching for the spell book. Give me.
maybe you could tell me what this is, because
Sure. Do I roll something for this, or like
What are
an
you trying to
Arcana
do?
check? Well, I want to look at it in a arcane way. Actually, you know what? I can give you something even better than that. I want to take 11 minutes to cast Identify on this spellbook.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead and do... Okay, so you take 11 minutes to cast Identify as a ritual, and your magic tells you that it is just an ordinary book.
I'm gonna open it.
Okay.
I mean, can I open it? I don't know if it's
You see a card
Okay.
on the very first page. The card that Grimm had gotten from Madame Ava from the Tarroka reading.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna hand it over to him,
no. Hold it.
and I'm gonna
Flip
start
the
leafing
page.
through. Yeah.
Sure. It's empty.
Empty.
There is
I don't see anything
absolutely
on it.
zero contents inside of this book.
It,
Do you know what it is?
it's a book. There's I close it and I hand it over. Like, it's just an old empty book.
What do you mean?
Grimm, you definitely saw him
Empty.
flip right past it. Yeah.
And I opened it back up. It's like, what do you mean? And then I took it to the page that has the picture of Granny. It's like, what do you? There's this. It's just appeared in the book here. Do you not see that?
It's not that I don't believe you. It's that I cannot see anything. The book, to my eyes and to my magic, comes up just like any other book. Whatever you see seems to be only for your eyes. That much I can tell you.
I don't even know where I
But
got
what the-
this book. I just woke up with it in my hand. If that doesn't say
Would
magic to you, I don't know what does.
Would I be able to do an Arcana check to see if this rings any bells with my, like, studies?
Yeah, go ahead. You can do an Arcana check. I mean, other than the regular spell books and things of that nature, with the 16, you would know that there are certain casters that have... I mean, you know of spell books. I mean, that's pretty much the extent of what you can know at this point.
So to me, it's just a spell book where the ink is only visible to the owner. Like, it could be some kind of magic that I don't know about.
You've heard of stuff like that before, as well. So I mean, yeah, it could very well be something like that. That's the best guess that you can come up with at this point.
But I was referring more to like the fact that it appeared in his hand overnight. More
Right.
So than the
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, something like that has happened before with people that were chosen by gods and things like that. But I mean, as far as the circumstances as to why it
right. I
appeared
don't know
in
the
his,
details. I've heard
yeah,
of the general
right.
concept.
Yeah.
I get it. That's fascinating.
So
You say that you can see things that are written here. Yes.
yeah, there's a there's some writing and well,
Can you show me the page where it's written?
I just opened it back up again. It's right here, and it's a picture, a very, very detailed picture, and it's of
I'm going to ritual while we're talking. I want to ritual cast detect magic on it, specifically on the pages that he says are written on. I did
Sure.
identify first. Maybe this isn't a magical
Right,
item,
right.
but maybe I can find magic tied to it.
So, yeah, after you cast a detect magic spell, you get a faint aura of magic off of it.
What kind of magic? Various types.
It
I'm assuming?
would be, I would say, conjuration would make the most sense here.
that could be a combination of divination, conjuration, and necromancy.
Yeah, divination
It'd be a
would make
combination.
sense as well. Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Either
it would
one
be
of
like
those.
enchantment, but that makes sense too.
No, not too much enchantment.
Oh, okay.
Faint, maybe,
my
for the book
brain
being
just-
enchanted itself. Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, like there's some magic linked
Sure.
to the.
There
Okay.
is that, but there's the stronger conjuration / divination.
The picture is of that old woman that we met in the town, the one that was selling the pies. Seemed quite nice, but some reason there's text above her head that says "wicked."
Can you replicate the image for me if I gave you paper?
Probably not.
Cool, that's okay.
I mean, I can give it a go.
Sure. I give him just a piece of paper and something.
Go ahead and do a sleight of hand check, I guess, in this
Alright.
case.
Sleight
It
of
would-
hand.
I think it would be performance. but okay.
14. I'm gonna add one of my
Okay.
my past life knowledges on there as
Sure.
well.
Okay, so
Adding
as you
a-
do that, you begin drawing it. And it's like your hand begins to take over and your subconscious mind moves your hand and your vision goes back to when you were standing in the forest and you're like scribbling frantically over the pages and every movement has its own reason, but it's creating this picture right in front of you and then you stop.
Last thing I remembered is I started to draw like the curve of the face. Did I black out for a second there?
Did I see what you just described, Johnny? Like, did I see him draw it like in his memory, or?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So was it more chaotic, or was it?
It was definitely chaotic. It looks like he went into like a trance state and just started scribbling. But
See.
Grimm, go ahead and add your past life knowledge dice
Yeah,
to the
it's
roll
me.
just to see how much it would be.
D6. Damn.
Okay, so 19 in total. It's very close. Not as detailed, but very close. Enough to where Johans, you're able to tell very clearly that this is the old woman that you had met.
And this book came to you overnight, you say?
Yeah, I was laying down by the lake. Next thing I know, I'm seeing some more of these visions as we've talked about, and I'm standing in the outskirts of the forest right outside the Vistani camp, holding this book. The image fully drawn. And like I said, it says wicked at the top. She seemed nice.
That lady was kind of wicked, yes.
What do you mean? She was offering everybody food.
Not every kind gesture is kind in its depths. That night, I don't know about the others, but I woke up feeling sick. Almost like the good was what's being sucked out of me.
And you think that was the food?
Mm-hmm. I have a distinct feeling that it was, in fact, the food, yes.
I mean, she did seem rather joyful in comparison to everybody else we met.
Yes.
It is odd in hindsight.
I can't tell you much more about the book than what you already know, but
do you think it's safe?
Educated guess? It probably is meant to help you rather than be detrimental to you.
Well, that's good. I was honestly thinking about tossing it off the thing.
Don't.
Answer everything.
That is not a good idea. No. It does seem interesting. Is there anything else in the book? Or is just this lady's face?
I mean, I'll scroll through it again just to double check, but it seems like the only thing that's there is that one page that says wicked. You know,
this sounds.
The vision I had that led to this book. There was a voice. I heard the voice before too. And the voice said, claim. I think it said, claim their soul.
That doesn't sound very nice.
No, it does not.
Is this the soul of the old lady, or? Because if that's the case, I'm on board.
I think that was the implication.
I can't be certain. I don't think I'm ever really certain of anything, but in this circumstance, my belief is that whatever is giving you this book, it's setting you on a path of some sort. Assuming that it is something that gave you the book. I don't think it's books, just non-magic books that don't trigger my, that my magic can't seem to detect. They don't just appear out of nowhere. They must appear because of some reason. So, I think we need to, claim the soul of the old lady. Whatever that may mean.
You say that so matter-of-factly.
The good thing about magic is that magic is predictable. When you cast a particular spell, that spell works in a specific way every time. In this case, this book, all it's telling us is that this lady needs to be claimed. I don't necessarily think this is the right path, but for now it seems to be the only one.
Why should we trust this book, though? I don't... I know you said it's probably here to guide me, but... it just seems...
well...
wrong.
If what my assumption towards her and the feeling that I had the day after is correct, I don't necessarily think getting rid of her is really a bad thing. And there's if you're given one answer to a riddle, or at least a riddle, and it points you in a particular direction, then you follow it at least far enough to know what the heck is going on. And if it gets too dicey, then we get the hell out. At the best, I mean, at least we can find the lady, speak to her, figure out what's going on. If it turns out that she's some wicked being, we do our duty, and if it doesn't, then we know the book is not to be trusted.
You're right, Johans.
Also, your boots look pretty good. You look good and good.
Oh.
I didn't say it before, but it's true.
Well, thank you for helping clean me up a little bit with that spell that you did.
Prestidigitation.
All right. Well, the sun begins to rise and the rest of the party members begin to wake up, and you have a quick meal before heading back onto the road.
Ow.
Yep. Go ahead and do a perception check as you guys travel.
With advantage, right?
Yes.
Natural
20. Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
All
Was that a
right.
natural 1 and a natural 20?
No, that is a
Natural's 5.
that is a 5.
Natural 5.
Yeah.
Okay. That would have been crazy.
So 7 and 22. 22 is the winner. You, at around midday.
Wait. Before, just in case this is an encounter.
Sure.
As we are walking through the morning, I kind of want to make sure I kind of back off a little bit and get closer to Katya, enough to where we can have a little conversation on the side of the cart if Katya's walking. And Katya, they're quite comfy, actually. Definitely. A couple days ago, when we were first coming out of the mansion, we met that old woman. Was your take on that lady? Did you feel sick after eating the pie? How would you describe how you felt? Sorry about... Oh. What it seems to be the case, Johans also felt similar. Said as if there was no happiness left in him. The other day when we had those card readings, the mentioned the beast within. How are you How are you doing? Well, if you need anything, just let me know. I'm gonna split over to Blaire.
At this point, you do see sky begins to come darker, rumble with the sounds of a storm. A current of mist flows from a split in the road that continues east. And to the west, you see 2 high stone gates. Sorry, east to the right, west. You see 2 stone gates looming in the gray fog, similar to the ones that you had seen when entering these lands. You see huge iron gates hanging on the stonework, and the 2 statues of armed guardians flank the gates, though these ones with their heads intact.
And these are similar to the ones we walked by
Correct.
when we first were walking into Barovia.
Yes. They are open. I imagine that you all walk through it.
My perception check hasn't detected anything.
Oh, right, you got a natural 20.
Yes, I did.
You notice that the road to the east winds up the mountain, and just above one of the peaks, you are able to see the spires of Castle Ravenloft.
Can I look around and do like a Eyes of the Grave just to make sure there's nothing?
Sure.
As we
Absolutely.
are approaching this gate.
You open your vision towards your surroundings. Your hair begins to lift as your eyes kind of white over, and you look around, and once again, the only one that you see is Katya.
I'll set it back down and...
Yeah. Okay.
I'll continue to make my side step over
So-
to Blaire, though. Well,
You walk through the gates, and the further you walk, the more you're able to see hidden behind those hills, the top towers of Castle Ravenloft.
Spoopy.
But you were able to have your conversation with Blaire.
hey, Blaire. I've been asking everybody.
How everyone likes your boots? They're pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, everybody's been commenting on them. Yeah, Madam Ava gave them to me. Said that she knew they would fit. I mean, I guess that makes sense since she seems to just know whatever she knows.
I don't hear
Ismark,
anything 'cause I'm
you know,
looking through the bird.
Ismark, they are really nice boots. I'm actually kind of jealous. I wish that I got those boots. They are very nice. I'm sure they feel really comfortable when he's walking. Look at him. He looks so comfy. He has a bounce in his step.
Johans is not hearing what you guys are saying.
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
hear him
yeah.
mumble. You can hear him mumble. Damn it! Why had he shoot so much better than that?
Oh my gosh.
So, Blaire, I was asking the others. You ate that pie that the old woman gave us, right?
Yeah, it was surprisingly tasty.
How did you feel afterwards, like when you went to sleep and woke up?
I definitely felt filled with dread. I'd say more so than I would expect it, even given our predicament.
And it was like you felt dread. You didn't feel sick. You felt like despair.
Yeah. And I also felt like I wanted more pie.
Thank you, Blaire.
You're welcome. You
So-
didn't have any, did you?
I'll just keep walking. I mean, next to Blaire, but
Yeah.
no, I didn't.
Did you feel okay in the morning?
No. No, I didn't. But not in the way that it seems like the rest of you did.
It was a more grounded feeling. Like, I guess I mean by it made more sense. What you felt.
In a way. It's just a feeling of being more lost than despair.
Well, that probably makes a little bit of sense. If anything, the card lady had to say about it. You're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
My, I mean, if what that lady was saying is true, which, based on everybody else's encounters with what she said, I don't see why it wouldn't be. But finding out my name is Logan, it's a lot to take in that she knew so much.
Well, you can choose to be Logan, if you want. Or you can continue to be Grimm. Or you can be a mix of the two.
Well, hopefully, whoever I am, I'll figure that, like, what I'm supposed to do out sooner than later. I'll keep walking.
Okay. Well, after a few more hours of travel, you find a spot off the road, set up camp. And yeah, the night, for the sake of brevity, it is uneventful. And again, on the third day and night, uneventful.
If
we come to-
I'm sorry, if one
No,
of
go
these,
ahead.
like each of these nights, I'm just gonna keep taking out my book.
Sure.
I'm just kind of running my hand against the page, like hoping that something will tell me more.
It doesn't shed any more light into what meaning it has behind it. It stays the exact same. No new pages are drawn in. No new words are added.
Each
Okay.
night I continue to do that.
Sure. Well, on the night of the 4th day of travel, we're going to move into...
By the way, I'm just not gonna keep saying it, but I keep my eyes open for
Sure.
anything.
Yeah. I figured that you would have Luna up.
All the time, except at nighttime, because I cuddle with her.
On the night of the 4th day of travel from the Tser Pool Encampment, the old Sphalic road transitions here from being a winding path through the Balanock Mountains to a lazy trail that hugs the mountainside as it descends into a fog-filled valley. In the heart of the valley, you see a walled town near the shores of the great mountain lake, its waters dark and still. Valakai. A closer, shorter branch on the road leads to the west, into a small hill atop which you see perched a dilapidated stone windmill. Its warped wooden vanes stripped bare, and yet it stands against time. This windmill looks exactly like the one that you had seen in the Durst Manor. You all get creeps just taking a look at it as you see the lightning coming down in the distance. Dark sky above you begin to open up, and rain begins to pour on all of you. And that is where we're going to end this session, as you all make it to the windmill. Maybe.
What?
Totally have the
Oh.
deed to it, but
God damn
So-
it.
that will be for the next session.
So next session we
which,
just keep going, right? We ignore the
right,
windmill.
yeah. Just ignore the windmill. So just for
Grief.
everybody to know, next week on the 27th, we will not be doing Ravenloft Misfits. We will be doing our one-shot of the month. Ryan, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Very, very briefly.
Sure.
Next week we'll be doing a one-shot co-written by MT Black, which I've played some of their other adventures that they've done. They've done a lot of solid stuff on the DM's Guild. A very, very popular writer. But yeah, we're gonna be playing their one-shot called Giant Slayer. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun.
Him. So MT Black, his stuff. Just
Right.
wanted to
Well,
throw that in
I'm
there.
just saying in general for.
I know, I'm
for
just
the
letting you know.
writers, the writers, because he's not the only person
got
that
it.
wrote. But yeah,
Sure.
we're gonna be playing their stuff, and
Tweet.
it's gonna be a challenging encounter adventure for level 1 characters. So
I wonder if it
Somebody
has-
might die.
Level 1?
yeah,
I know. When he said level 1, I was like, really? That's the one you... All right, whatever, let's do it. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Join us next week for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited to play it. Thank you to everybody that joined us today. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing to the channel. I know that there was a lot of gift subscriptions. Thank you everybody that did subscribe to the channel tonight. You guys are awesome, and we really appreciate you. And even if you don't want to subscribe, just follow. Share the channel with everybody that you know. And there are many other ways to support rather than giving us your money, because we don't need your money. We just want you guys to enjoy this and spread it to people that will. So
Yes.
if you are hoping to support us with any sort of way, you can check out the chat, or you can check the episode description for all of our different social media stuff. If you're watching the recording, make sure to like and subscribe, slam that bell button, explode the bell button. Anyways, if you're listening to the podcast, please leave us a review if you liked what you heard. It'll help with the algorithm and all that good stuff.
I thought you were gonna
And
say, if you're listening to the podcast, go to YouTube and smash the bell.
yeah, right. Just do it
Still do that.
anyways.
Just
Uh,
whatever.
just find us on all of our social media. It's at Talking XP on pretty much everything. I don't think there's anything that goes against that. And join us Wednesday night for our Let's Play series. I think this week we're going to be streaming For the King. So that's going to be
nice.
exciting.
Oh,
It's
It's a
a
great
lot
game.
of fun. Yeah, it's a great game. So anyways, thank you again so much. Make sure to level up, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.